USS Mobjack was a motor torpedo boat tender in commission in the United States Navy from 1943 to 1946. She saw service in the Pacific Theater during the latter portion of World War II. After the conclusion of her Navy career, the ship served in the United States Coast and Geodetic Survey from 1946 to 1966 as the survey ship USC&amp, GS-Pioneer, the third Coast and Geodetic Survey ship of the name. Pioneer operated in the Pacific Ocean during her career, making an important discovery of magnetic striping on the ocean floor that made a major contribution to the development of the theory of plate tectonics, and was the first ship in the history of the United States Coast Survey U.S. Coast and Geodetic Survey to visit the Indian Ocean. Construction and commissioning. Mobjack was laid down as a seaplane tender AGP-7 by Lake Washington Shipyard, Houghton, Washington, on 25 February 1942 and launched on 2 August 1942, sponsored by Mrs. H.R. Peck. She was reclassified as a motor torpedo boat tender and redesignated AGP-7 on the 11th of March 1943 and commissioned on the 17th of October 1943 with Commander D.B. Coleman in command. United States Navy service. World War II. Following shakedown off Southern California, Mobjack departed San Diego, California, for the Southwest Pacific on 14 December 1943. Steaming via New Caledonia and the New Hebrides, she arrived at Rendezvous, British Solomon Islands, on 14 January 1944 to begin duty with motor torpedo boat squadrons, South Pacific. She trained and supplied patrol torpedo boats in the New Georgia area until 6 March 1944, when she steamed to the Treasury Islands and thence to the motor torpedo boat base, Emirau, arriving on 23 March 1944. In mid-May 1944 she returned to the Treasury Islands, where she overhauled PT boats and repaired and tended the motor gunboats and landing craft infantry gunboats S of Task Group 30.3 into July 1944. Employed briefly in transporting spares and other materiel, she departed for British New Guinea on 23 July 1944, arriving at Draga Harbour on 27 July 1944 to begin service under Commander, Motor Torpedo Boat Squadrons, 7th Fleet. During the greater part of August 1944 she operated at Itape Harbour, tending Motor Torpedo Boat Squadron 33 and providing assistance in salvage work. On 28 August 1944, she got underway for Meozwo-Endi, Netherlands, New Guinea, in company with MT Barbon 33. Arriving there on 31 August 1944, she was engaged in fueling, provisioning and making final repairs to the PT boats of the squadron preparatory to sailing for Morotai as a unit of Task Group 70.1. Morotai. Arriving at Morotai on 16 September 1944, the day after the American landings there, she commenced tending the boats of her squadron and consolidated PBY Catalina flying boats assigned to air sea rescue of pilots downed en route to and from raids on troop. For the first 3 days she went about her duties unscathed in spite of Japanese air resistance. At sunrise on 19 September 1944, however, a smoking Japanese fighter emerged from a heavy overcast and dove from Mobjack. Unable to crash into the ship, the pilot dropped 2 bombs which exploded close alongside, hulling the deck and wounding one of her crew. Making temporary repairs, she remained at Morotai, tending PT boats of Task Unit 70.1.2 and PBYs now ranging over the Netherlands, East Indies on relief and intelligence and reconnaissance missions, until February 1945. The Philippines. During February and March 1945, Mobjack transported materiel, spares, and advanced base personnel as she accompanied motor torpedo boat squadrons to forward areas. At Mioswondi on 1 April 1945, she took on base force personnel of MT Bronze 9 and 10 and on 2 April 1945 got underway for summer in the Philippine Islands. Arriving on the 11th of April 1945, she disembarked her passengers and steamed on to Palawan, where she relieved motor torpedo boat tender US Willoughby as the repair unit for MT Bronze 20 and 23. She moved on to Mongaon Bay, Mindoro, in mid-May 1945 to overhaul and repair motor torpedo boats for use in the Philippines and in the upcoming Borneo Operations. The Borneo Campaign. On 8 June 1945, Mobjack steamed to Samar to stage for the landings at Balikpapan on Borneo. Departing on 21 June 1945, she moved, with MT Bronze 10 and 27, to Basilan Island, thence, on 26 June 1945, further down the Sulu Archipelago and into Makassar Strait. On 27 June 1945, she joined the minesweepers, at work since 1 June 1945, and the ships of the bombardment group, which had been pounding the Japanese-held oil center since 17 June 1945, in preparing the way for the Australian assault force. For 4 days Mobjack fueled and sustained the motor torpedo boats assigned to night patrol off the coast, to prevent the Japanese from replacing naval mines, restoring obstacles blown by underwater demolition teams, or disturbing channel markers planted by the minesweepers. On 1 July 1945, these extensive preparations and precautions proved to have been well executed as wave after wave of personnel of the Australian 7th Division of the Australian 1st Corps went ashore without a casualty. Mobjack, harassed by Japanese night air attacks until Royal Australian Air Force night fighters stopped them, remained outside the harbour for the next 9 days. On the 11th of July 1945 she stood into the harbour, where, on the 15th of August 1945, she received a dispatch directing the cessation of all offensive action against the Japanese. World War II was over. Honours and awards. Mobjack received 3 battle stars for World War II service. Post-World War II. On 12 September 1945, Mobjack returned to the Philippines and for the next 2 months engaged in decommissioning motor torpedo boats under Commander, Motor Torpedo Boat Squadrons, Philippine Sea Frontier. On 10 November 1945 she headed eastward, arriving at San Francisco, California, on 29 November 1945. In December 1945, stripping of Mobjack began, and on 21 August 1946 she was decommissioned. The Navy transferred her the same day to the United States Department of Commerce.